fulfilling relationships. Determine your most fundamental relationship gifts and needs. Then stay focused on your intention to have these needs complemented by people who pop into your life as a result of you making yourself available. Now expect numerous relationship challenges. It's a part of the rules of meaningful relationships, including some failures. When experienced with these tools, these become grist for our growth mill. So keep your heart open to those who hurt you, knowing that all hurt is inadvertent because of their PFP prism. Find some way to say to yourself, thank you for being such a pain. Now, as you grow and mature, you'll have to let go of some relationships that no longer complement your growth process because of different priorities, values, etc. This is so very important. So very important. As you grow, because most people aren't, as you grow, you're going to have to bring more people into your life. And therefore, because time is so limited, you have to make choices. I say to folks, see your daytimer as a life raft that can only handle so many relationships. Let me repeat that. See your daytimer as a life raft that can only handle so many relationships. Now, for significant other relationships, as soon as possible, sort out lust from love from liberation. All may have a place in your world, but clarity is essential. Let's talk for a moment about these significant other relationships, what Joanne and I call conscious coupling. Throughout our more than 50 years together, we've had many challenges and made mistakes that have been accelerators to force each other's development and growing up. Through it all, we've learned much about how to manage our own little boy and girl PFP brains as they attempted to limit our potential to experience unconditional love with each other. It has been wonderful to be present at the execution of some of our PFP ego brains. Some of it anyway. Being conscious in a life partner relationship can be a rich opportunity to use both pleasure and pain to transform to one's fuller potential for happiness and fulfillment, for sure. Now, whether you're in one of these relationships or coming out of one, considering going into one, or vowing to never be in one again, all options offer growth, including awakening to one's fuller potential. Here we can learn to skillfully not resist the bad times as we work to improve them. We can also learn more about not mindlessly being attached to needing bigger, better, more of the good stuff to be happy. So in addition, as you discover the potential for your primary relationship to awaken you, keep your mind open to the possibility of awakening in all of your relationships, the casual ones as well. So some of the richest examples of conscious couples that we have witnessed have been men and women who have used the blowouts, the blaming, the boredom, and even betrayals, including sexual infidelity, as classrooms to grow to their fuller mind, body, and spiritual potential. They ultimately either left the relationship or found sufficient common ground to work with this intense curriculum. Either way, they used that classroom to gradually learn to keep their hearts open while they passionately worked for positive change. For many of these couples, these tools that we've been sharing with you and exploring made a difference in their life. Conscious couples, compassionate conflict, flow by flow. As I am making this recording, my mind is full of feelings, thoughts that speak to my deep sadness and vulnerability concerning the worldwide suffering from COVID-19. Any hour of any day for weeks, I could start to cry, and often have. While Joanne and our family are all healthy with enough resources for years if we needed it. The vast majority of people around the world are not. My grief and fears are made much more tangible because I am out of control to do anything on the scale that is required and that I want to do to relieve this universal suffering. Surrounded by this reality, Joanne and I are attempting to meaningfully support a family member whose spouse died recently, and another family member who has a life-threatening medical problem. After just completing one of the most stressful years in our life due to the family deaths and sickness and overwhelming professional responsibilities, not being able to even support our family members as we would like to, continues to accelerate my little boy PFP feelings of emotional instability. Joanne and I have just had a significant disagreement on an important decision. I'm feeling more sad, alone, and vulnerable than I have for a long time. I'm about to share my subjective experience of awareness and equanimity from over the last 10 to 12 hours during and following our disagreement. My frightened PFP has poured all of its resources into mindful anger. I become aware of my tight chest on the left side and even a slight bit of pain. And I say to myself, allow. Now, I haven't always been this able to somewhat skillfully be in these moments. But as I continue, this is what I'm suggesting would be helpful in many relationships. Not saying we're here and arrived, because there are times when it doesn't come out like this, but this would be an ideal we would suggest. More thoughts. All I have done, and this is my thanks, I catch myself and say to myself, talk. I label what's happening. She never. I bring in talk again. There is talk. She always. I mindfully label talk. Next, the subjective you be fit experience of my emotional pain is prevented from cascading into suffering by catching this PFP reacting. Catching, as you know, is my predominant subjective experience at this moment. With this catching comes simultaneous calm and clarifying. Chest, left side tight. More labeling, more awareness. There is anger. There is anger trying to crowd sadness, aloneness, and fear out of my brain's bandwidth. There is Joe's PFP, not Joe. Allow. There is, I'm tired. I will now say to her, yes, and what else? There is overwhelm. Why can't she just talk? It's time to be silent. Talk. But she needs to be told. Talk. I intend her well-being. Allow. So to each of these hits of self-talk, I am aware and I label talk and allow. It's the best I can do right now, because I'm in over my head. My mind just wants to have a mind of its own. So at this time, I continue to catch myself. I break my silence and say, let's talk tomorrow, okay? I'm tired, and I would like to go to bed. Joanne agrees. I leave and continue my Be Fit mindfulness process. As I prepare to fall asleep, I'm very aware of my sadness and concern for how we're both suffering from this disconnect. I wake 5 hours later, and Joe is lying beside me. I say to myself, I hope she's okay. Catch, talk. I gently place my hand on her shoulder and fall back to sleep. I wake 2 hours later to find my hand in hers. She's obviously saddened and concerned for our suffering as well. We get up and have breakfast together. We continue our talk and concerns for each other's well-being. I reflect with gratitude for my feelings and behavior as compared to the radically different way this kind of a situation, not that long ago, frankly, would have resulted in my feelings of anger, resentment, and withdrawal, only to be repeated again and again and again. A great quote from A Course of Miracles. Our task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within us, like what I'm calling PFP, that we have built against it. We have had many more catch, calm, and clarify experiences under even more physically and emotionally threatening times. However, the one we just shared is typical of most couples' everyday potential hijacks. It's the stuff of our lives. We call this process being love. Not being in love, but being love. It's continuously and routinely manifested as no big deal. The couple or the transforming individual is compelled by a deep experience to then engage more in what we call universal love, to be in service with others. The no big deal part is important. Think of how we automatically reach out to soothe a crying baby or to rescue a wounded puppy. We will find that we have that same automatic response to all people, all of life.